Hail, Internet! It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We are here today talking about the 5th episode, Season 2, House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Regent. We open with shots of Corlys and Rhaenyra silently mourning over the death of Rhaenys from last episode. We then cut to King's Landing to see that Criston Cole is parading the head of Meleys, Rhaenys' dragon, through the streets of King's Landing as a trophy. Though the locals, who are already starving and unhappy with Team Green, see it as a bad omen. Displaying the decapitated head of this mythical, godlike creature, in their minds, will bring down more ill fortune on King's Landing. So the attempt at a hurrah parade backfires.
Yes.
Interestingly, Aegon is quietly shepherded through the streets in a box.
Yes.
Nothing to see here, just a box.
It's
King's
all-
doing great. He's probably flying around somewhere. No follow-up questions. Anyway, dragon head. Look at that. That's cool. We end with Rhaenyra talking with her son Jace. Jace has returned from making an alliance with the Freys, who will many years later be involved in the Red Wedding. Jace points out they have plenty of dragons on Dragonstone. They just don't have enough riders. He and Rhaenyra decide to enlist the aid of Valyrian bastards, commoners who may have the ability to bond with a dragon. And so our, proliferation of nukes begins to escalate. All that said, Paul,
Yes.
what'd you think of episode 5?
I was satisfied. Solid 7, I'd say.
Okay.
They're very much like to give you a punch. An episode with dragons killing each other there, and then chill. See
Yeah, I mean, I
where
feel like,
everything is afterwards.
That battle ended the first half of the season, right? So at the end of episode 4 of 8, big battle sequence, and we're now, I think, maybe building towards what is likely a season-ending battle, if I had to guess.
Sure.
So less action, more intrigue this episode.
Yeah. Very much table setting. So I enjoyed it, but the stand-up moments for me was Alicent at the meeting when she's crushed. She's just sitting there like, oh god,
devastating.
And they cleverly just focused on her as the people were.
They just talk
making their
over
plans. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like she doesn't even matter to them.
Right, and the look on her face, she really plays it well.
Yeah.
She just realizes what's happening in real time, that she is becoming obsolete to this group. They're just moving on without her.
Yep.
And it's like, oh man. It's pretty devastating. In fact, Alicent loses much of her power this episode. I think she's probably already lacking a bit of confidence since learning that she misunderstood Viserys' dying words. So she's already a little bit like, what I do was right? I don't know. There's a little bit of that.
Yeah, you could definitely say that's a 1-2 punch where, okay, maybe I did the wrong thing. And then at the moment when, the person that I put into power is ill, this seems a lot like before when my husband was ill and I was the regent. So, of course, we'll just do that again, right? And they said no.
And they're no.
The
And
people
even
that,
Criston Cole was just like, nope. Not backing you.
Her...
Larisse or whatever.
Yeah, even that guy is like, what? That would be kind of hypocritical, don't you think? If we put a woman in charge. That's what it meant. Not, trying to pay attention to your husband's true wishes last minute. No, it's all about not trusting women.
Yeah, right. It was like, wait, you mean Aegon versus Rhaenyra? Well, Aegon sounds great. Oh, wait, Rhaenyra versus Alicent? What about Aemond? Like, okay, all right. There's a lot of chauvinism happening in this episode for sure on both sides. Yeah. But we do see, there's another scene that happens right before that I think is, I don't know if it's foreshadowing this scene, but it's maybe just like indicative of Alicent feeling powerless. where, she's asking about Aegon. She's in the room. They're peeling his armor off. He's obviously critically injured.
Yeah.
And, the maesters are working him, and they're not jerks, but they like politely are like, okay, we got to work now. And, it's like they kind of push her to the side a little bit. And she just stands there watching. Like, she can't help. She can't do anything. She's just watching other people work.
Sure.
And then, similarly, she gets into this thing. She's like, here's an idea. I could be regent like I was with Viserys. This worked out before. I can do this. No, you can't. And like, oh, my God. And then she's sitting there as they just talk past her. And then you get this scene at not the very end, but toward the end of the episode where she's sitting again at Aegon's bedside. And again, unable to help.
Yeah.
He's just lying there.
Sure.
And I was kind of reminded of a scene from an earlier episode. If you remember when she walks in on him sobbing over the death of his child.
Sure.
And she just quietly walks away. She doesn't comfort him at all. And here she kind of wants to comfort him, but she can't. Then as she leaves, she misses the fact that he's trying to call out for her.
Yeah.
And so they just never are able to connect. I mean, the show does not let these two have a mother-son relationship.
Yeah.
It's like, Anyway, it's really fascinating. And, a pretty devastating episode for Alicent. What did you make, then, of Criston when she meets up with Criston and Criston gives his reasoning?
I
thought that was interesting.
Point of saying how sort of stunned he was from battle.
Right, which I thought that would probably have an effect on him, seeing these dragons just wipe his men out, and I think it did.
Yeah. But also, too, I think he was taken aback, by Aemond and his ruthlessness.
Right, he does not just come out and say, like, he pretty much smoked your son,
that's like, hey, I've got nothing to report or whatever he says. He's like,
and I guess it's because as he says, like, he thinks a dragon rider is needed. Because the dragon escalation is happening. And he's like, okay, we gotta go dragon all the way. And so he's willing to even kind of like, basically lie on behalf of Aemond, if everything. Lie by omission. There it is.
Yeah.
But also he does mention that, and I think he's sincere. I mean, it's a chauvinistic impulse, but it's at least he wants to allow Alicent to avoid having to make these brutal decisions that are inevitably going to be made in the coming days. And, I mean, he misreads Alicent in that way. I mean, I think she's all in to help Team Green. But he's kind of like, don't wait, you want to do this? You want to, like, send all these people to their deaths?
Yeah, but no, that's patronizing as well, of course.
Yep.
Correct. I'll protect you from this decision.
Exactly. He's doing
the
protecting knight guy.
Yeah. So, she has to cut him down and say, oh, excuse me, you calling me by my first name?
Yeah, oh, right, exact, great point. Yeah. And also a kind of a suggestion of like, okay, we're done here kind of thing. Like, okay, you've betrayed me, so kiss off. Rhaenyra meets similar resistance from the men on her council.
Yes.
But she still holds the power.
Yes.
And so she very cleverly sends away her harshest critic.
Yes.
So it A, gets him out of Dragonstone, but B, also, she'll be getting news about Daemon's actions at Harrenhal, which he wanted to know anyway. So it's a win-win. Get rid of the jerk.
So you're thinking that his only usefulness would be in bringing news, because certainly you wouldn't actually think that he has any sway over.
No, right, no. But I think, in other words, he goes, he sees what's going on, and he comes back and reports what's happening. She's being political and is avoiding being stepped on. And I love her comeback when, one of her maybe it's that same guy.
It's the same guy.
I forgot. It's the same guy who's like, look, I mean, women and war, I know you guys just aren't good at it. Yeah. And she's like, wait, what? It's been a time of peace for decades. What wars have you been involved in? Like, oh no, you're right. I'm sure you're way experienced in all this. So they're all dealing with some misogyny happening on both Team Black and Team Green.
Sure.
And then she deals with Missaria, who mentions to her, hey, there's more than one way to fight a war.
Mm.
And we see then, toward the end of the episode, she sends a spy to King's Landing.
Right.
And that spy, I'm pretty sure, meets up with the serving girl who was assaulted by Aegon in season 1.
Yeah.
And we see her serving drinks at a tavern earlier this season. So
right.
One would say that serving girl has no love for the Greens. Maybe there's going to be some kind of like a fomenting a revolution, maybe amongst the towns. I mean, the townsfolk are unhappy. Aemond locked them all in,
right?
And they're starving. So maybe that's the idea. I don't know. I don't know what their idea is. I think the Dragon Rider, finding the Dragon Rider idea, which is going to be that guy Hugh who we've met, and the guy who's in the tavern, Ulf.
Right.
Among others.
I think what I've heard is, and it makes sense to me, is, they've already misstepped with the dragon and making them think that they don't really appreciate, the importance of the dragons. And then, it's like, well, you did that, and now, Rhaenyra's going to want to kill us. Because, we killed, her trusted advisor and everything, and so now she's gonna be mad at us and come and want to kill us.
Revenge.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, we're starving. I've got the solution. Oh, if they want to leave, we'll lock them in. And so all this stuff that they're doing to not appreciate their people.
So in other words, you feel like maybe there's going to be an attempt to push that along a little bit more, accelerate the unrest. I think that's where that's going to. Meanwhile, then we get Daemon. There's a great scene where he's sitting on his dragon and he threatens to burn the Bracken leaders if they don't bend the knee. They literally just turn their backs and walk away.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. What an F-you to this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather just, go ahead, burn me if you want. And he doesn't. He doesn't burn them.
No, it looked very much like they were going to be burned, though. It's like,
yep. Oh, yeah. I know. I was like, here it comes. Oh, no. It's HBO. Oh, no. No, he doesn't. But he does something maybe almost, I would say worse. I don't know. Getting barbecued's pretty bad. But he basically...
it's certainly... more defensible. It's like we told them, join us or die. And so, you could say, well, he did say, join us or die. But it's not like, oh, well, join us or we'll go by night and steal your children and women.
We'll commit terrorist acts on you, basically. So he enlists the Blackwoods to raid the citizenry of the Brackens, kidnap kids. We're not told all the things they do, but they're terrible things.
Yeah, terrible things.
And the idea is to make the Brackens submit due to just the amount of this sheer terrible things happening to their citizens. It doesn't work.
No.
I mean, it doesn't sound like it would work, but okay, whatever. Anyway, so they come to him. They wake him up early in the morning to tell him off to his face. Like, oh, man. So diplomacy, we're seeing, is not really in Daemon's wheelhouse.
No, it's not.
He's a loner, do thing. He gets things done, but he's not a team guy. Really, at all.
No, he's not good at building bridges.
And Alice takes him to task for using terrorism to try to win over the Bracken. She's like, hey, you want people following you who hate you? That's is that what you're really hoping to get out of all this? So there's he's made some tactical blunders for sure. One interesting thing that will come to fruition at some point is that Jace got the phrase to ally with Team Black by promising them Harrenhal.
Right.
Eventually, I think he's like, after the war, I'm sure. But I'm like, oh, okay. That worry wasn't his to promise, but so there'll be at some point, ownership of Harrenhal might be an issue there. Yeah, so that's intriguing as well. All these things are little pieces to set up, little dominoes falling, alliance and allegiance wise later.
Yeah.
I'll say this. So one of the things that Aemond did that maybe is a little good on him. He had the rat catchers cut down.
Yes,
right.
I was that. Yeah, that.
They've been there for a while.
The sort of, tell in a way that he has a more confidence in, what he's doing than his brother.
Yeah, and when he comes and stands in front of is it Aegon's bed, and he just stands there for a while, and then he's like, someone's gonna need to lead. You're like, oh, okay. But yeah, he's
during that whole meeting there. He's just sort of laying back, and letting everybody sort of make the case for him. So when he just stands up and picks up the ball, it's sort of like, we know this is where it's gonna go.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like my dad was my soccer coach for a long time, and he was always big about, hey, I don't want on my team, insulting the other team or taunting or anything like that. He would he's like, his one of his mottos is, nothing intimidates more than quiet confidence.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I get out of Aemond. He's he doesn't say much, and you could tell though he's like judging everything. He's weighing people. And but he's also he's a jerk as well. So it's not like he's gonna give everybody flowers.
Yeah, I heard one person say though that they thought that he was, at least in this latest episode, was sort of two-dimensional. And I don't know if I agree with that.
I don't think I agree with that. I think he could have been way more mustache twirly if he wanted to be.
Perhaps, yeah. One thing we did see, though, or at least, we're not going to see, probably, is him confiding in his mistress anymore. But, perhaps he'll confide more in his sister.
So, right, she's like, hey, was it worth it? And and I wonder if maybe because she has visions, maybe she's aware already, or she has a prophecy of how this all happens. But she's like, you tried to kill my brother husband.
Our brother,
right. So we also get, and I'm not sure how to interpret it, but basically Daemon has an Oedipus dream.
Sure.
He's like having sex with his mom.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's I guess, Targaryen.
I suppose they're sort of establishing how he, from the beginning, had a difficult. He wasn't able to bond with his mother. He barely knew his mother, if at all. And not a great relationship with Rhaenyra. So maybe they're setting that up.
Well, and she validates the fact that, oh, look, you're my favorite. Better than Viserys. I mean, he's always trying to, I think, wants to be. I was the right choice.
Well, certainly we hear more of that. Him saying, "No, now not just king, not just."
Yep. Now he's not just your grace, right? He's now moved up to king.
King, yeah.
And he's like, well, when I take over King's Landing, we'll rule together. Okay. All right.
It's sort of like Viserys didn't know what he was talking about. He really wanted me. So, even though he has less of a claim than Rhaenyra, it's like, it's like, no, there are other people other than you, and they're still around, buddy.
I sense that eventually we're going to have by the end of the season, Rhaenyra and Daemon will kind of reunite and be a united front again. Is my guess. That's my thought. Is he'll maybe realize the error of his ways, perhaps. Anyway,
okay.
I will say this: during the cutting the rat catchers down scene.
Yeah.
Damn it! If Cheese's dog still alive and kicking,
somebody must be feeding that dog.
I know. Hopefully, he's not eating dead rat catchers.
Thank you for the food. I'm gonna go back and watch my master.
Yeah, my master's corpse.
Yeah.
But so here's my hope. I'm hoping, and I think there's a chance that he gets in with another character in the story, and then he becomes like a regular background figure.
Okay.
Cheese's dog. Look out! Here he comes. Dragon Rider. Why not?
Yeah, and
Cheese's dog.
Visit Cheese's grave every now and then, to drop a little
It's probably like a big like a pauper's grave where they're just a bunch of bodies in a mound. But yes, he goes and pays his respects. You just see him walk by occasionally. He'll just be like, it becomes an Easter egg. Watch, somewhere in this scene is Cheese's dog. He's on Dragonstone somehow, just walking by. Oh, there he goes. Anyway, so I'm hoping that good things happen for Cheese's dog. Sure. It's just interesting that they brought him back for this scene, right? They didn't have to.
They didn't have to.
And they were like, no, he's there. He's going to follow. I'm like, okay, go get him.
They know people like dogs, so.
Yep. I'm in there. I'm in that group, Paul.
Oh, cat and dog man. Okay, all right.
I am.
Wow.
Indeed. Doing a show for Paws.
Yes, of course.
Coming up, we're going to encourage some adoptions. Do some scenes with some puppies.
Wow.
Including an Armageddon parody with puppies. There you go. There's my big sell on the show we're doing.
Ooh.
So, come on back. We'll be talking about more House of the Dragon. Sure. We're going to be talking about the season finale of The Acolyte, and more about the Lazarus Project. Thank you as always, Paul. Appreciate it, good sir.
Anytime.
And we'll talk to everybody next time.
Bye.
Bye.